Blue 42! Blue 42! Hike!
This is The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5, America's one and only sports talk show. Breaking down college football's biggest games, latest news, and greatest moments. Are you ready? 'Cause it starts right now.
And hello, everyone, and welcome in to The Game Managers. I am Nick Norris, and with me, Caitlin Shortall. Caitlin, how are you doing today?
I'm a little tired. How are you?
Tired?
Yes.
You act like you were up all night working or something.
That's because I was. That's 'cause I was.
Well, welcome in, everyone. You may notice that Patrick Hanna is not with us today. Unfortunately, he has had a family emergency. I don't want to get too much into it, but he will not be joining us. Caitlin Shortall, my beautiful fiance, will be filling in for us.
I may not know, a ton about football like he does, and I'm definitely not a coach, but it's okay. I'm here, and I know at least a little bit about football.
You know a lot more than you like to give yourself credit for. I will say that.
Thanks. I try.
And we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about the national championship. We're going to talk about the upcoming slate of NFL championship games. We're going to talk about reclassification for AHSAA schools and the bombshell that was released today in that regard. Schools like ours that we graduated from, very heavily impacted today by that, and would have probably maybe changed the whole way that me and you would have went to school if we would have stayed in those schools. We'll talk about those.
I was going to say, that'll be news to me. So you have to tell me about that.
Yeah, so we're going to get into all of that and more. Caitlin, if you will, just check the feed for us, make sure we're getting volume through and everything.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure there before we keep going. But let's start with the national championship game, in which the 16-0 Indiana Hoosiers came out on top over the Miami Hurricanes. This is probably maybe the last time we're going to see a 16-0 team for a very long time. That is going to be hard
huge.
to win that many games.
Yeah.
The fact that somebody did it in year two of the national championship, the 12-team playoff, absolutely crazy. And we actually found out today that the college football playoff will remain at 12 teams for the 2026 season. There was consideration of expanding it.
Oh, my God, yeah. That's
It's not
ridiculous.
happening at least this year. We're going to keep having 12 teams for the upcoming 2026 year. Everything sound okay over there on that side?
Yeah.
Perfect, because my headphones are not working super great. I'll work on those at the break.
I don't know what that's about,
But we have a lot more to talk about. Let's start with some true crime, Caitlin.
Okay.
Former Canadian Olympic snowboarder Ryan Wedding has been arrested. Wedding was one of FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives, with a $15 million reward for his capture after being indicted for allegedly running a criminal enterprise, cocaine trafficking, and murdering a federal witness in an operation stretching across the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and Colombia. Former snowboarder.
That is crazy. That's like some narco stuff right there.
Yeah. Attorney General Pam Bondi previously said that Wedding's operation was responsible for more than $1 billion a year in illegal drug proceeds. And officials had believed Wedding to be somewhere in Mexico under protection of the Sinaloa cartel.
That is crazy. I can't believe it. I've never heard of this. This is insane.
Yeah, so he has been arrested today. That was huge news coming out of sort of the sports world, but really more so the true crime world.
I guess he was, because you said he was an Olympic snowboarder. How did he get into cocaine? I have to look more into this. This is crazy.
Also, my best friend Aaron just texted me. He said, have a baby now. So they have just had their baby.
Wild.
After
and
3 days of being in
say,
the hospital. Congratulations
really?
to Aaron
and
Shout
out
Rachel
to Aaron and
Patterson.
Rachel. Yeah.
Absolutely. On ESPN tomorrow, we're going to have 12-7 Auburn's men's basketball travel to number 16 Florida at 3 p.m. And afterward, number 17 Alabama, who is 13-5 on the season, hosts Tennessee at 7:30. And the big news out of this one, Caitlin, is the Tide plans to play Charles Bediako, the former Bama center who was granted a temporary restraining order Wednesday morning, giving him immediate eligibility to participate in all Alabama men's basketball activities and games. He hasn't played for Alabama since 2023. It's been in the G League ever since, and somehow found a loophole where if he gets a restraining order against the NCAA, he doesn't have to follow the rules, and is, at least for now, playing back in Division I athletics for the University of Alabama,
Restraining order against who?
the NCAA.
I can't even begin to wrap my head around that. That is, how does that even work?
They've got to get a handle on this, or college sports are dead. Because
I mean, it's the same with that Duke quarterback, right? Where like he's trying to like transfer or whatever, and
Yeah.
Duke isn't like Duke suing
Duke is
him?
suing him for
It's,
because
like, very
he's
similar.
signed some contracts with NIL and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yes.
So yeah, that's insane. They needed to like figure that out.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things going on with college sports. It is the Wild West right now over
Mm-hmm.
in college sports. But that's not the only place that things are getting crazy. Let's look at the NFL, where a few head coaching jobs have been filled, and we got one more opening since last episode. Ex-Baltimore coach Jim Harbaugh is officially the new head coach of the New York Football Giants, and former Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski is now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh has been named the new Titans head coach, and Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley has been hired to replace Mike McDaniel as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Meanwhile, McDaniel has been hired as the new OC for the LA Chargers, and yesterday the Ravens hired Chargers DC Jesse Minter as their new head coach. We still have a number of teams interviewing for their open spots, though. The Cardinals, the Browns, the Raiders, the Steelers, and now the Bills, after they fired head coach Sean McDermott following their divisional round loss to the Broncos. Today, the news broke that the Bills are interviewing former quarterback Philip Rivers for their head coach
And
position.
honestly, I do like that. You know what I mean? I would like that hire.
I'd
'Cause I
like that
think
for
he's
the
great.
Browns, but for the Bills, like they're supposed to be, contending for a Super Bowl, and you're going to go hire a guy with no head coaching experience. I mean, they haven't hired him,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
I see what you're saying.
No experience.
Yeah.
As a head coach, besides at the high school level for 1 year.
I guess he has like the potential to be good, but I guess you're right.
Sure,
like he's
yeah,
never had any coaching experience because he's never even been like an offensive coordinator or anything.
Not even a quarterback coach. Yeah, you don't want to start
Yeah.
there with him. Yeah,
Right, that's a good point. I think I just like him as a person, and I think that's where I went with
Oh,
that.
yeah, I
But
do
that's a
too.
good point, though. I guess he's never had any like head coach.
The
Experience.
Browns should go do it because what do they got to lose? But
Nothing.
The Bills, they just fired a really good coach.
Yeah.
So you're-
Apparently,
yeah.
I was listening on the way here. Apparently, someone under Sean McDermott, like someone that he hired in, apparently got close to the owners, and that he influenced the owners to fire him. Now, that may or may not be true, but
So I think what you may be referring to is that.
some Beamer, I can't remember now what his name is, but
So I don't know if you're referring to the press conference that happened this week.
Potentially,
with the Bills.
yeah.
So the Bills this week, they had their own press conference in which owner Terry Pagula made a lot of strange comments, but the strangest was he made a diss at wide receiver Keon Coleman, who is still currently on the team.
yeah.
Basically saying that they shouldn't have drafted him, that it was the coaching staff's decision to draft him, and that the GM, Brandon Beam, who they promoted to president for some reason.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah.
Who they said that he was just playing along with the coaches, that it's not his fault, trying to protect the GM, now president there.
So a lot of drama, and I feel like that was definitely an interesting choice that
Yep.
they fired him this season.
Yeah, he also had said during it there, he was like, "Well, we fired McDermott because of the loss,"
But
then
like they've had worse losses before, right?
but then they asked him, and they're like, "Well, why did they lose?" And he was like, "Because the refs made a bad call."
so
And
it wasn't
they-
even the coach.
And so they said, "So then, did you fire the coach because of the ref?" And he was like, "No."
Right.
And so it's like they're not making any sense.
no, there's
you
something
know?
more to that exactly.
Yeah.
But so that was what I was listening to on the way here, and I thought that was interesting and like interesting context to that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, wild stuff.
Do you know the controversy with Sean McDermott, the old Bills coach, now former Bills coach, a couple years ago? Did you ever hear about this?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's
I'm
not a
a
huge
little tired. I'm a little
controversy.
tired. I don't know.
It's a pretty small one.
Okay.
But it's bizarre, to say the
Okay.
least. So I think it was I don't know if it was a NFL Films or if it was just a post that got put online or if it was a leaked interview or if what it was. But a speech was made by Sean McDermott saying that the Bills need to be more like Al-Qaeda in 9/11.
I mean, what?
Saying he was like they were relentless, they were great planners. We need to be more like them.
That is
Keep
such
in
a-
mind,
such
they're
a
in New York.
crazy thing.
Saying that.
Crazy thing to say. That's actually insane. I didn't know he said that. That's wild.
Yeah, that happened a few years ago. So I've seen a lot of jokes in that vein this week. has this been going on?
Goodness.
We are going to take a break in just a moment. When we come back, though, we are going to look at that national championship in a closer scale. We're also going to look at the NFL slate coming up. We're going to possibly talk to Jasper High School Athletic Director Jonathan Jordan, talk about that reclassification. We'll talk a little bit about that, too, Caitlin. You're going to find that interesting because you also went to a private school. They are heavily affected today. And we'll talk about some Super Bowl odds as well as some weird news. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Anson with North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in beautiful Arab in Jasper, Alabama, bringing you the biggest competition between the Chrysler store and the Ford store all year long. Our teams are teaming up to save you thousands of dollars. We've actually put the teams together, and they're in a competition to see who brings home the trophy. So in conjunction with the Chrysler Wrap Up the Year sales event, we are giving the biggest discounts of the year. It is our Wrapping Up the Year sales event, and the only way that we're going to win this competition against Ford is if you show up to save the thousands of dollars. Top dollar for your trade and 0% financing and the lowest payments possible. For instance, a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee discounted over $12,000. Drive it home for $29,999. Used cars as low as only $49,999. That's the kind of savings that you're going to get when you buy from the Chrysler store at North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Arab and Jasper. Check us out on the web at NorthAlabamaCars.com. I'll see you soon.
Hey guys, this is Ashley Anthony coming to you from North Country Ford in beautiful Arab in Jasper, Alabama. Guys, I know you just heard my better half say that there's a big competition. Well, let me tell you what team you want to be part of. You want to be part of Ashley's Ford team. The number one selling truck in the world is the Ford F-150, and the number one place to buy your vehicle is from Ashley. Make sure you ask for Ashley's team. Guys, don't listen to what he said. I'll give you the biggest discounts, the most money for your trade, and the best buying experience you ever had. Y'all come make the short drive to Arab or Jasper, Alabama, and I promise you, you'll be glad you did. Make sure that you ask for Ashley's team because that's the winning team. Nobody wants to be on my better half's losing team, right? Y'all make the short drive to Arab or Jasper, Alabama, where I promise you, you'll drive a little and save a lot. Or check us out on the web at NorthAlabamaCars.com. And as he says, but I say it better, I'll see you soon.
You're listening to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5.
And welcome back to The Game Managers. I am Nick Norris, and with me, the gorgeous Caitlin Shortall.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
You're very welcome. And we are about to talk about that national championship game. And what a crazy one it was. A much better game than I anticipated it being between Indiana and Miami. Of course, Indiana did come out on top, 27-21. And the play that everybody is remembering and that he's already gotten on Fallon for
I saw that,
and on the Today Show was for that big touchdown dive in which it was a gutsy call not to kick the field goal on that fourth down. Decided to go for it, put it in the hands of the Heisman and first overall pick most likely, and he got it done, man. It was a crazy. They're going to build a statue of that dive in Indiana.
And also, they're probably going to make a movie. I mean, it's been like a crazy season for them, for sure.
They really probably will at some point in our lives. It was one of the best college football seasons I've ever seen from just a single team's perspective. I mean, one of the most dominant. It reminded me of an early 2010s Alabama team.
Exactly what I was thinking. Like, I'm like very reminiscent of Nick Saban. I'm forgetting the coach's name now, even though like he's everywhere. But the coach's
Kurt
name.
Cignetti.
There it is, Cignetti.
Kurt
Yeah.
Cignetti.
But anyway, he reminds me a lot of Saban too. I totally agree. Very Alabama reminiscent. But yeah.
Carson Beck had a pretty good game. I mean, if you look at the stats, they look a little average besides those passing yards. He did have 232 passing yards, a touchdown and a pick. He went 19 for 32. But he had a decent game. It was just that pick to end it that
was
everybody's going
brutal.
to remember.
Yeah,
he
so brutal.
is out of eligibility. I believe he was denied another year, so he is done.
Well, didn't he say he like graduated 2 years ago?
He did. Yeah.
So it's time to join the workforce. You know what I mean? Like, no offense, but we must.
It's not a bad time. It's a light quarterback class in the draft. I don't know
You think he'll go to the NFL draft?
I mean, I think he'll try.
Yeah.
He'll probably get picked up late, late fifth, sixth round.
Maybe by the
something
Browns.
like that. Just quarterbacks will get picked up eventually. Now he may not make it to the season. He may get cut before then.
But
he'll
maybe
probably
get picked up. Yeah.
He'll probably get picked up somewhere.
Yeah.
And but Mendoza almost certainly going to the Raiders, and
I hope he
man.
does well, but you know how
Yeah.
we'll see.
yeah, I hope he does too. A lot of it's going to
Yeah.
come down to who they hire and how that's going to go, but.
Yeah.
Man, that's going to be brutal to be going to a team with just no weapons at all,
Yeah.
like they have. Hopefully, they pick up some guys in the draft
hope
as
so.
well.
Yeah.
But just such a complete game. Let's look at Mendoza's stats just very quickly here while I have them up. 16 for 27, 186 yards. He didn't have a passing touchdown, but on the negative 8 yards of rushing he had, it did have a rushing touchdown. Just an awesome performance all year by him.
Right,
And
yeah.
such a likable guy, too.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like every time you see him on, like in his interviews, I mean, just 10 out of 10 guy. Yeah. The
Yeah.
first thing he always says is like, give glory to God, or, you know, stuff like that and
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure he also like cursed on live TV. I thought that was crazy.
He did. He dropped the F-bomb. He always says flipping. He dropped a real F-bomb this time.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, like he really just said that.
They asked him about it. He was like, it just felt right.
It felt yes. In that the post game conference, he was like, "I'm always giving these media trained responses,
Yeah.
and it just felt right in the moment." Yeah, but yeah, he seems like a really likable person and like pretty charismatic too, and pretty good with like those interviews. So
Yeah, I want him to do well.
Yeah,
I
me
hope he
too.
does. I think
Yeah.
he will.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what he does in the pros. Hopefully, you know, ideally he could go and sit somewhere for a year. They're not going to let him do that at the Raiders. He will immediately be starting. But
immediately, yeah.
hopefully he does well there and
hope
they
so,
don't
too, yeah.
tank his whole career.
I
while
hope
we
not.
are
That'd be
there.
so sad, yeah.
But let's go ahead and look at these NFL games coming up, Caitlin. You've become quite an NFL fan, I will say.
I know, I really have. I mean, really, honestly, since I graduated college, you know, 5 years ago. Ugh. But anyway, yeah. So I've really kept up really since then. So like anything that's happened before then, I don't know as much. I've been learning, you know, as I've been a fan.
You've come a long way
I
though,
have.
very quickly, a lot
Yes.
faster, and you actually really enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, do I fall asleep sometimes? Yes, but that's because I work nights. In my defense. But yeah, this past weekend I wasn't able to really watch the games, but obviously I was able to kind of somewhat pay attention and look at the highlights and everything. But I'm so sad about the Bears.
Just checking the audio there. You sound great.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking seeing the Bears, you know, but I
I
think
wasn't able to really watch the crazy parts, but you know, I
Yeah.
heard about it, and yeah, it's
they're
depressing.
going to be good for a while though. They'll be back.
Yeah.
So they overachieved this year with the first time head coach.
Yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
I expect them to do just as well next year, if not better. But we've got 4 teams left. That is it. This week decides who is going to be in the Super Bowl.
Right.
We've got New England at Denver. Denver, of course, without Bo Nix, having to start Jarrett Stidham, who has not started a game in 2 years.
Oh, I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's brutal.
Yeah, it is.
But was one of the first to be signed when the coaching staff changed in Denver. So
Yeah,
he's
they-
been there. He knows the system.
Yeah.
Now it's just going to be how good are you? You know, he's
Yeah.
gotten first team snaps all week. Now he's got to see. I was hoping they'd just go sign Phillip Rivers.
He's a quarterback for another team.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah.
That would be really funny. They should have.
They should
That
have, but he's
would've been
busy
good.
interviewing to be the Bills head coach.
Apparently. Oh my gosh.
In that game, New England is a 4.5-point favorite. I do think the Patriots win by more than that. I don't think
Yeah.
Jarrett Stidham's able to get it done.
You know, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Patriots have been good anyway. I don't know. I would love to see Jarrett Stidham just ball out and somehow
Right.
win that game, but
It's not very
doesn't seem likely.
Yeah.
And then in the AFC Championship, we've got the LA Rams and we've got the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is a 2.5-point favorite. We've got MVP Matt Stafford versus that absolutely insane Seattle defense. Would you like to know how the cheapest tickets are to get in the building? This does not include
The
parking.
cheapest tickets.
It is under $1,000.
It's got to be like 500, 600.
$645.
Yeah. Which is crazy. I mean, you've got to be like a huge fan of these teams to be able to. And
You
like
gotta
you
have some
said,
deep
not including
pockets.
parking.
Not including
Not
parking.
including if you have to drive there and like stay the night
Hotel.
in a hotel,
Yeah.
food. Oh my god, yeah, insane.
That is just your
And then you go
seat.
and lose. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'd be
Happens
mad.
all the time.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
That one at Seattle is a 2.5-point favorite. I want the Rams to win, but I think Seattle does get it done. I just don't see anybody beating Seattle with that defense.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, the Chargers are pretty good, like but yeah, I think you're right.
What's
Yeah.
crazy is we have 2 MVP candidates left. We've got Drake May, who is an MVP
Did I
candidate.
say Chargers?
It's okay. They're both in LA. And then we've got the Rams with
sorry.
Matt Stafford, who is also an MVP candidate. It feels like whichever one of these guys win, unless they both do, is probably going to get the MVP.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless somebody just has a horrible game and they also win somehow, which doesn't seem likely. I do think it's Matt Stafford's award to lose. I do think he probably will win it, just because Drake May is younger and Matt Stafford is kind of getting these like lifetime achievements,
Right.
for all the
He's been in it for a good amount of time.
yeah,
I
which
think
he's
you're
won an
right.
MVP before, I believe. But
Oh, really? Yeah.
I do think Matt Stafford's had a little bit better of a year. But either way, I mean, either of these guys deserve it. They have had ridiculously great years, and especially with the Patriots. I love seeing Mike Vrabel do well after the Titans fired him
Right,
for no
yes.
reason, which was brutal.
I can't. Like, no one in the NFL, I feel like, has patience. And I know it's like just how it is now, but like, you don't immediately do well, fired.
Yeah, and he
It's
did do well. He was
insane.
a 2-time Coach of the Year at the Titans. He just was limited by the roster he had.
Right, exactly.
And they
yeah.
won't spend any money
That's
there
exactly what I was about
in
to say.
Nashville.
Like, they don't ever want to spend money on the team, so it's like,
Yeah.
how are they going to do well,
When they were looking for their coaching search this year, they were looking for a Mike Vrabel type, which is funny since they had Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now he's done so well with the Patriots.
Yeah, he's not leaving there for a while.
Right.
He's doing great. So
Yeah.
him and Drake May there, young quarterback, new coach. That's going to be a dynamic duo for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Upsetting for everyone else who has to keep watching the Patriots.
I
do
know,
well.
I know, and it's
We
like,
got 5 years off.
yeah,
That's all you know.
God bless.
Well, let's look at our NFL Super Bowl odds, okay? So right now, Seattle has the best odds. They are plus 150 to win the Super Bowl. They are considered the most likely winner as of right
The
now to the
Seahawks,
4.
I think.
The Seahawks. After them are the Rams. They are at 220, plus 220, so they are second. And then it's the Patriots plus 250, and then the Broncos plus 1,300. Their number went way up after Bo Nix was hurt.
Right, exactly what I was about to say. Like, now that he's hurt, they probably are like, not likely.
Yeah, so it's
yeah.
much more. Yeah, their odds are stacked against them compared to all the others. They're all 250 or below, and then Patriots all the way up to. The Broncos all the way up to 1,300. But if that's trying to win any money betting, which we do not endorse sports gambling on this show, but that would be the one that you would do.
Matter of fact, I don't think we should do online gambling, period.
I agree.
But definitely not, in my opinion, sports gambling, whatever. It's fine, I guess. But anyway, yeah, I guess so.
If anybody, any of these sports websites wants to pay us enough, maybe we'll
I was-
endorse it. But none of you
I
are.
would do it for a check.
So I'm going to be honest. I don't like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Caitlin, I'm going to quickly introduce this next segment that we're going to be talking about before we get on the phone with JJ.
Okay.
And talk about what's happening. So with the AHSAA, today they announced their reclassification. This is all schools, all high schools are assigned an A.
Right,
You know this.
right.
1 through 7A is what it's been for the past about 10 years now, a little less than. When we were in high school, 7A did not exist.
Right. I guess they added that, right?
They added it a couple years after we graduated.
Yeah.
So-
because I went to Holy Spirit, so it was always 1A.
1A,
Yeah.
as
There
was
was
Sunday
1 year-
Christian, which is
yeah.
where I went. Where I teach Jasper, they were 6A.
Right.
That's
And there
what-
was 1 year maybe we were like 2A, but always 1A. Yeah.
Yeah, so that came out today. It was postponed. It was supposed to come out in December, okay? They postponed it. Nobody knew why. We found out today why they did.
Like postpone like what, the new classification?
Yes,
Okay.
that was unusual that they
Okay.
did that. And we found out today it was a bombshell. Nobody that I had talked to knew this was coming well in advance at all. It was very shocking what they did today.
Okay.
So what they announced today is that the 7A is being dissolved. No more 7A again. It's 1 through 6A,
Okay.
which means all those huge schools are back into the mix.
Right. Until
with
like
those
6A.
6A teams.
Yeah.
So somebody like Jasper, we have been knocked down to 5A, which is
Right.
good because we don't need to be up there with the Hoopers and the
Those
Thompsons.
huge- yes. Yeah.
But what it does to us, alma maters like ours, these private schools, is that now private schools are no longer in the normal public school sports arena.
Really.
We can play those schools, private schools can play public schools in the regular season. When it
Yeah.
comes to postseason, no more.
You can't play in the AHSA anymore.
Private school will have their own playoff.
In the AISA?
No. ASSAA. I think they are trying to do away with the AISA. They're trying to choke them out, basically.
Wait a minute. So they're dissolving the 7A so that way.
They're dissolving 7A, and then they're
Yes.
taking all private schools, putting
Okay.
them into two separate A's, a 1 and 2 private A, or private A, and then
Okay.
they are having their own separate playoff. They do not mingle with the public schools in the postseason.
That's actually crazy. Why?
That's what a lot of people are asking today. This has affected a lot of scheduling throughout the next
'Cause
year.
they've already, I mean, I'm sure made all their scheduling and everything.
And this really affects things. And so for somebody like us, when we were at those schools, if this would have happened when we were in high school, immediately my mind would have went, well, I don't want to play in the fake playoffs.
Exactly. With
And that's
none of
not
the
how
other
it should be
schools,
viewed,
yeah.
but that's how kids are going to view it.
That's exactly
And
it,
it's going to
yeah.
hurt private schools, I think, from getting really good athletes.
Yes, I totally agree.
Now, I think
Yeah.
there's some benefits. I think there's some schools that would never have a chance of winning a state championship that now they can, but it's not the big one.
Yeah, but you're still not really like competing with like, not to say like private school athletes are not real athletes, but like obviously you don't have as many people to choose from.
It's going to feel
usually.
like a smaller, less important.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. If what I would think if I was a
at
student.
School, yeah.
Yes.
I guess I don't really understand like the reasoning behind it. Like, do they not view those sports at those schools as important? Like, I don't know what the reasoning
I think there's a lot
is.
of political reasons why this is happening, and I think one of them is that it's probably going to hurt or help depending on the school them being able to recruit, because private schools can legally recruit in some ways. I think for some schools it's really going to help them if
Yeah.
you're just dominant and you just want a ring and you don't really care what the ring is. And I think
Right.
for some schools, small schools, it may hurt them a little bit because
Yeah, they can't really give out that money like that.
yeah.
Yeah. But I remember, I mean, maybe unless it's changed, like, I graduated 10 years ago, so I'm sure it changed, but I don't know if you, like, transferred in, you had to sit out for a year. Maybe they've changed that now, but,
Yeah.
so, I don't know. I think that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
It's a big change. Like I said, nobody really saw this happening, and there's a lot of confusion, a lot of questions about it today.
And you've got to change, like, your entire schedules for, like, this upcoming year. and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and-
So when we come back, we're going to go to another break. When we come back, we are going to see if we can get our Jasper High School Athletic Director, Jonathan Jordan, on the phone, talk about what went down with the classification. He was able to watch it today live as it was announced. Get him to kind of explain that rule the best he can between the private and public, and also talk about Jasper High and how this is going to affect them. For anybody who is worried, we are going to be able to keep that, stay in the same region as Coleman, and a lot of those teams that we are used to, those big rivalry games, are going to remain. Some things are going to have to change, and we're going to talk about that with Coach Jordan if he is able to join. We're about to give him a call in just a moment. So let's take a break while we try to reach out to him, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Anson with North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in beautiful Arab in Jasper, Alabama, bringing you the biggest competition between the Chrysler store and the Ford store all year long. Our teams are teaming up to save you thousands of dollars. We've actually put the teams together, and they're in a competition to see who brings home the trophy. So in conjunction with the Chrysler Wrap Up the Year sales event, we are giving the biggest discounts of the year. It is our Wrapping Up the Year sales event, and the only way that we're going to win this competition against Ford is if you show up to save the thousands of dollars. Top dollar for your trade at 0% financing and the lowest payments possible. For instance, a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee discounted over $12,000, driving home for $29,999. Used cars as low as only $49,999. That's the kind of savings that you're going to get when you buy from the Chrysler store at North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Arab and Jasper. Check us out on the web at NorthAlabamaCars.com. I'll see you soon.
Hey guys, this is Ashley Anthony coming to you from North Country Ford in beautiful Arab and Jasper, Alabama. Guys, I know you just heard my better half say that there's a big competition. Well, let me tell you what team you want to be part of. You want to be part of Ashley's Ford team. The number one selling truck in the world is the Ford F-150, and the number one place to buy your vehicle is from Ashley. Make sure you ask for Ashley's team. Guys, don't listen to what he said. I'll give you the biggest discounts, the most money for your trade, and the best buying experience you ever had. Y'all come make the short drive to Arab or Jasper, Alabama, and I promise you, you'll be glad you did. Make sure that you ask for Ashley's team because that's the winning team. Nobody wants to be on my better half's losing team, right? Y'all make the short drive to Arab or Jasper, Alabama, where I promise you'll drive a little and save a lot. Or check us out on the web at northalabamacars.com. And as he says, but I say it better, I'll see you soon.
You're listening to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5.
And welcome back to The Game Managers. We finally figured out our headset dilemma, which is perfect because now, I believe, we have Athletic Director of Jasper High School, Jonathan Jordan, on the phone. JJ, can you hear us?
I got you, man.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for calling in, JJ. Hopefully we don't lose you when I hang this up right here. All right. Thank you for calling in, man. We just wanted to kind of pick your brain, talk about what you saw today with the reclassification, how it affects Jasper. There's been a lot of buzz today about that.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on today. Today's been a day. Today has been a day. It's kind of one of those days that you have circled during the school year, from an athletic standpoint that, hey, you're going to lock in on about one or two things today, and that's about it. Not getting too much more done, but worked on reclass and scheduling and a lot of that stuff today. So it's been a grind.
Oh, man. Well, I know that this was kind of a bombshell. Did you have any sort of forward knowledge that maybe Jasper was going to be dropped and that they were going to dissolve 7A entirely?
Man, you've seen everything's floated around for the past few weeks, like the past month, and you've seen everything under the sun, and a lot of it's just coaches sitting around trying to figure it out. But we had ran the numbers, and there had been talk about pulling the private schools out, so we thought if they did that and went to 6 classes that we would end up, in 5. We just didn't know where. We thought that we could have went, if they kept it in 7, we thought we could have went 6, thought we could have went 5, could have possibly been in about 5 different regions, depending on if we went, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, or Northern with Hartselle and Coleman and those guys. So, there's a lot of different places we could have ended up depending on what classification we were in. But it didn't shock us because we've been to Birmingham before. So it's kind of, it kind of played out, I guess, with the way that they lined the classifications up, it's probably, probably about as close as anywhere we could go.
Yeah, I saw we got to keep some of our same rivalries there. Coleman dropped there with us, and luckily we're not going to have to sacrifice a whole lot as far as the scheduling goes, but do you think that this is a benefit for most Jasper sports, or do you think this will make things a little more competitive in the future?
I think it's hard to say because we field so many teams, and they've only put out fall sports so far, but we got our work cut out for us, like the volleyball region. It's us, Coleman, Hartselle. And Arab. They brought Arab in kind of out of nowhere there and dropped them in. So if the area play holds up, and that's the same areas that you have in softball and baseball, you got your hands full. Because you catch Coleman and Hartselle in baseball, and obviously Arab's good and they're good in softball. So basketball, that'd be a pretty tough area. So it just kind of depends sport by sport. But we were glad to be in there with Coleman again. That's a great game for us. I was actually just on the phone with their AD before I called in. Coach Mike Dean, he's a great guy. We like to play as much as we can. So we're excited about that game. But then you have an older rivalry between Gardendale. So that's an interesting game there. That's usually a good gate. Mortimer Jordan. We've been in there with them in years past, so that's kind of a decent game for us. And then you kind of have the Birmingham schools there that we haven't seen. Like we haven't been in with Parker since I've been here. We haven't been in with Huffman. We've been in with Minor before. That's always fun to go from that go there. And a lot of these guys are new football coaches to those schools. So it should be interesting. But But I think a lot of these schools on our region will be better this year than they were last year.
What about on the private school side of things? Obviously, you are you know, we both work at a public school, but we are surrounded by a bunch of private schools. Do you see a scenario where this benefits? Do you see this hurting private schools, or do you see it being a case-by-case thing?
I didn't think that was the biggest issue that we needed to fix. I thought the bigger issue was the shrink enrollment gaps between schools and classifications. I would have rather added an extra class than, you know, and I know the private schools. I know the big deal was the Choose Act, and I'm not a real political guy, so I don't really have an opinion one way or another on there. I just thought if regardless if they get the money or not, you know, to attend a private school, I think they should have to move to that attendance zone, which is in the bylaws. So I thought you had a check there. So I'm fine with leaving the private schools, you know, with not restructuring that. I'm more concerned about, like, let's take 7A, for instance. In the last reclass, Auburn was the largest 7A school, and Florence was the smallest 7A school. Auburn has more male students than Florence had total students. To me, that's a bigger issue than the private schools.
Yeah.
You know, because I think what I would like to see is, you know, week 5 or 6 of the football season, that you still have the majority of the schools in the state of Alabama with a fighter's chance of still making the playoffs. Because I think when people disengage, it does a lot to your community. So I would rather see the numbers shrink between schools than I would to take out the private schools and create more of a gap.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me. You know, obviously this is your job. You spend a lot of time studying this and looking into these things. I know that maybe it's not wise for me to say, you know, what was the grade that they got, you know, for how they did this. But, you know, I will say, I will just ask, before I let you go, what is one really positive thing from this today that you are most looking forward to when it comes to the 2026 year?
Oh, let's see. New opponents. Seeing some new opponents. We loved the region that we were in last year. We liked going north with perennial football powers. But, you know, I've never played Parker on a Friday night when they're absolutely loaded. You know, they'll have more, you know, I think they had more 5-stars last year on their roster than Auburn, than University of Auburn University. So, I mean, they're loaded, you know, and so I'm excited about doing that. I'm excited about, you know, some of our non-region games. You know, when you go 7-3, 8-2, you don't have people knocking your doors down to schedule. When you win 3 games, everybody wants to play. So we've really had to do some work in our non-region schedule. So we worked hard on that today. We're still not ready to release it yet. We'll give a sponsor a great opportunity to do that.
There you go.
But I'm excited about doing something different. You know, I'm excited about playing in this region. You know, and just see how our kids can compete. But I think you know, as far as if you look, you know, Frank Warren is the head football coach at Parker. He's unbelievable. I mean, they won a state championship. Like I said, they have kids everywhere. You know, Darryl LeBeau, that was at Pleasant Grove, is now the head football coach at Huffman. So they're going to look really different this year. Rico Jackson's at Minor, who's a proven guy. A guy named Joe Webb. You remember Joe Webb that played quarterback at UAB?
Oh, yeah.
He is the head football coach at Jackson Hole. So I got to talk to all those guys today. So it'll be fun to compete against, you know, those kind of coaches. You know, it's a little refreshing not to look down and see Muscle Shoals on the schedule. You know, if you can miss them in Hartsville, that's not a bad year. But obviously we got, you know, there's no rest for the weary because we got this region's loaded. athletes everywhere, good football coaches. So it'll be fun to see our kids compete day in and day out.
Well, speaking of competing, I'm going to ask you one more thing, too, while I got you. This coming up weekend, we have, not this weekend, but the coming up weekend, we are going to send our cheerleaders to Orlando, Florida, and they are going to be competing in UCA Nationals. Just tell us a little bit about that and what you expect to see out of the girls.
Man, if you've never been to a cheerleading competition, it could be the most stressful thing. To me, the most stressful things are the 4x1 in track because of the baton. That's a stressful situation. And then if you've ever been to a cheer event, they have 2.5 minutes on the mat. You can't call a timeout. You can't substitute. You got to run it, and they're evaluating everything. So if you flip a sign off the mat in the wrong place, you get points deducted. And there's about 500 people about 20 feet from you, and they're all watching you do this. They're extremely athletic. We've done really well down at the National Cheer Competition in Orlando the past 5 years. I think we've got 3 or 4 top 3 finishes, and Amber Wright does a fantastic job with our group. So I couldn't be more proud of them. I'm excited to go watch them. This is really it's an awesome chance to cheer for people that cheer for everybody else every day. So, and they do work hard at it. They go 365 on that. And they put a lot of work in. So they put a lot of work in for 2.5 minutes.
They sure do. I actually got to watch them practice a little bit yesterday, and I was blown away by how hard they work. I did not know that much went into preparing for a real cheer meet. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, and they're in the training room as much as any athletes that we have. Wrists and shoulders, and concussions. Yeah, I mean, they stay banged up, pretty much all year because they start competing around Halloween, and then they compete, all through the fall semester. But their nationals are not till second semester, and they have to qualify through regional tournaments. And we won a few of those regional tournaments, so that's how we got a bid to nationals. You have to receive a bid. It's not you can't just sign up and go. So we're proud of them. And Coach Wright does a fantastic job, and her assistant coaches, Savannah Pyron, does an excellent job. She's an assistant coach. She actually won 2 world championships at Winfield. So she's a big time. Yeah, she's big time good. And then Winter Bolin does a lot of our stunts, and she cheers competitively in college. So she has a really good staff, and Amber's been in it a long time. So we're excited to watch them compete. We really are.
Well, I know those girls are going to be in the studio on Monday. They're going to be with James Phillips on Live at 9. So be sure to tune in on Monday morning, hear them talk about their kind of last hoorah there as senior cheerleaders. So we can't wait to hear from them. JJ, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. I know the last thing you want to do probably is talk more work on a Friday night. So we really appreciate you joining us.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me. Can't say enough about what you guys do for high school athletics in our area. I know, we talk with a lot of the coaches and the ADs in this area, and everybody to a man brags about what you guys do and the support that you give our kids. So thank y'all so much for doing that. If you ever need anything, holler at me. And as always, go Vikes.
Go Vikes. Thank you, JJ. We'll see you next time. All right. So, as we saw there, a lot going on in the world of athletics, and of course, everybody just shaken up today by that news of the reclassification. Jasper, all things considered, fared a lot better than some of these other places. So glad to see that.
He made a lot of good points, I think, because I'm not as in the high school world as you are. But yeah, I think I totally agree with what he was saying. Like, there needs to be more like evenness within like the classes instead of like he was saying like, whatever school had like a ton of students and not another school, you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be more even. So I totally agree with that. Yeah.
So he's a smart guy.
Get rid of instead we'll get rid of the private schools.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that especially hits for me because like I went to a private school, so that's like kind of crazy. But I don't know. Maybe there's a reasoning behind it. I haven't really looked into it, but either way, yeah, he made some good points.
Very much so, and we appreciate you coming on, JJ. All right. So, Caitlin, we've got one segment left.
Okay.
We usually don't have this much time to do that segment. We miss Maddie's Minute this week. And, of course, we miss Patrick on as well. And
He's able to do a lot of that coach talk that I'm not good at. So I think that's a little bit
Well,
of it. And I'm a little bit low energy, so that's about it
That's
too.
okay.
Yeah.
He should be back next week as well. He, like I said, he's dealing with some stuff with the, a loss in the family, and we're praying for him. And
Yeah.
I know his whole Ezra Baptist family there is, I'm sure, praying for him as well. And,
Yeah.
and we appreciate all of them for listening. He has a good little group from church that listens in, and so
Nice.
shout out to them as well.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and look at this weird news of the week, Caitlin. I've got a few stories for us this week, and this first one I think you're going to find interesting because it's about a real life mermaid, and you love mermaids.
I do. This is on People Magazine. What does it say? Women
People
trying to be a
Magazine.
mermaid arrested after officers allegedly find her nude in neighbor's pond. I would be so mad if this happened to me.
So, a Louisiana woman has been arrested after she was allegedly caught naked
Naked.
in her neighbor's pond. According to a social media statement shared on Wednesday, the Union Parish Sheriff's Office in Farmerville, Louisiana, 41-year-old Erin Elizabeth Sutton was arrested this week in connection to an alleged incident last year in November.
Oh, this didn't even happen this year.
In November, though, not pretty recent. Authorities were dispatched to a resident in the Linville community of Marion, Louisiana, in reference to a trespassing complaint. The homeowner reportedly called, claiming that the neighbor was, quote, standing in their driveway screaming, end quote, and that they were informed not to trespass on the property. Upon arrival, officers located Sutton, quote, swimming nude in a pond on the caller's property, end quote. Quote, Sutton refused to exit the pond and speak to the deputy, saying she was trying to be a mermaid, end quote.
Okay, so I don't know. This to me sounds like someone in a psychotic break, in
Yeah.
a delusion. You know what I mean? I don't think that she's in her right mind saying, "Yeah, I'm definitely a mermaid." Like she's definitely having a mental health crisis.
Caitlin, she's not saying she is a mermaid. She is trying to be a mermaid.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like this article is somewhat implying that like she's in her right mind and
She
being
is.
like,
She's trying to live her
"Queen,
dream."
She's just trying to be a mermaid. No, this person's having a crisis.
Oh, okay. Then she's trying.
Well,
She's
she's
doing her
not
best.
succeeding. She's
Well,
not succeeding. Look, because look what the next sentence says. Emergency personnel, that one. Okay.
After
Yeah.
several commands, the woman finally exited the pond. Due to cold temperatures, emergency medical services evaluated Sutton and provided a blanket. They took her inside a residence to warm up, but the defendant, quote, suddenly charged toward the deputy.
Suddenly charged is crazy. And then it says,
After several commands, Sutton refused to comply, and the deputy deployed a taser, which had
Taser?
no effect.
I'm telling you, this person's in a crisis.
Sutton was taken to the ground, where she continued to resist attention and began kicking and punching the deputy.
How much you want to bet she went to the ER? What does it say after that?
During the transport, Sutton threatened to kill deputies and
Now look at
paramedics.
that. When Sutton was finally restrained, she was transferred by EMS to the local hospital.
Yeah,
Yep.
She required medical treatment. Deputies waited until a later date to seek warrants for her arrest, and that date came this week.
I'm telling you, like, it's crazy that People Magazine is reporting on that. Like, it's like local gossip and tea. It's like this person's just having a mental health crisis. That is crazy, though. And I'd be mad, very mad, if this happened to me.
This story comes from Futurism.com. So our friend Aaron and Rachel just had a baby,
Yes.
and I don't know if they want me to reveal their baby's name on air, so I won't. But this couple right here couldn't come up with a name themselves, and so they went to their good friend ChatGPT.
Oh, my. I mean, haven't we had enough of ChatGPT? It's sending people into literal psychosis, but let's let it name our child.
Naming your child isn't a task to be taken lightly, Caitlin. It's a crucial step in the child-rearing process that could fundamentally shape a child's identity, influence first impressions, and reflect the parent's heritage and values. But that hasn't stopped from taking some baffling technological shortcuts. As the Baltimore Sun reports, one couple, and doubtless countless more, used OpenAI's ChatGPT to name their firstborn son.
I can't.
We were looking up on ChatGPT boy names that go well with the last name Winkler. Sarah and Stephen Winkler told the publication.
Maybe we should change the last name, too.
And then once we found Hudson Winkler, we're like, give us a good middle name. And the resulting baby ended up with a name that sounds like a gray millennial porch. Well, that's me. Why we don't have to hate the baby.
Yeah, why are we hating on the baby?
Hudson Oakley Winkler.
Unfortunately, not a good name.
His
but that's-
initials are How, H-O-W.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a good name. And I don't know. ChatGPT did not do well with that one.
Yeah, well, it doesn't do real in general with anything.
That's what I'm
ever.
saying.
Yeah.
And like my thing about it is we can't take 2 seconds to sit down and Google popular baby names and try and put it together. Use critical thinking to be like, I kind of like how that sounds. Why are we doing? Can you tell I don't like ChatGPT? I like that drives me crazy. I can't. But anyway, that's insane.
We got one more story, Caitlin, for today. This comes from the New York Post, and this actually happened last week. I don't even have to read this. I can just tell you what went down with it, okay? There was a Rams player. Of course, Rams were playing in Chicago, and it was freezing.
Right.
Okay. And some of the players were worried about staying warm.
Uh-huh.
One player decided that he figured out a way to stay warm. And this was, let me see who the player was. This was Rams nose tackle Poona Ford, okay?
Isn't that the one that? No, I'm thinking about someone else. Never mind.
You're thinking of Puka Nakua.
I am, yeah.
No. So this nose tackle, a big defensive lineman,
Okay, yeah.
he found a way to stay warm. Can you guess what what food item he put in his socks?
I already read it. It says cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper
Which he said he put it in his socks.
in his socks.
I mean, we can't get like. That's so crazy. Why can't we just get warm socks? So like, why do we have to put pepper in them? Because you know that didn't feel good.
Do you think there's any science behind that?
There's no way. There's no way.
Let's see if there is.
I would be shocked if that actually is like something
The
that people
spicy
recommend.
pepper has been shown to improve circulation and blood flow throughout the body, but I'd assume that's from
Okay.
eating it.
I mean, maybe if you're like
That's
rubbing
consumed. Yeah.
it, or
Okay.
eating it.
There you go. When applied to the skin, blood vessels widen, allowing for an influx of warm blood and creating a warm sensation. So there is some scientific backing for this.
I declined. I don't agree with that.
However, there
because-
can be a burning feeling if too much topical capsaicin
Is it capsaicin?
is used.
But I don't. No one is going to recommend this. You know what I mean?
Well, the practical herbalist recommends half a
Okay.
teaspoon of cayenne powder mixed with an ounce of foot powder.
I do think. See, it's not even fully the cayenne pepper. You're gotta mix it with something else.
Only put 1 teaspoon
See,
in
that's
your
what-
socks.
You
Caitlin.
can't put a lot, and he probably just put cayenne pepper. No one is gonna recommend this. This is.
The
I'm
practical
more negative
herbalist
now
just
that I'm
did.
tired. Yeah, practicalherbalist.com with a bunch of ads on the side. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go to the practicalherbalist.com. And the
See,
first
look at
page
this.
is keep your feet warm with cayenne pepper.
No, you go to your primary care doctor right now. They're not going to recommend to do this.
Author Sue Siralupe is probably a primary care doctor. I'm sure.
You think so? Yeah. I
100%.
think he's definitely real too.
She,
Sorry, my bad.
women can be doctors and herbalists. I think only women can be
Herbalist,
herbalists.
herbalist is not real. I don't agree that that's
I
real.
used to do a talk show I produced for a herbalist. I didn't enjoy it.
I don't think that that's real. Like, what
It
do you mean a
wasn't.
herbalist?
Yeah.
They're not an MD. I mean, maybe you can have like that's not like a specialty of medicine. You know what I mean? I think that's fake. Declined. No one, I'm telling you, no one's gonna recommend to do the cayenne pepper. I think he just decided that would be a good idea. Cause why can't we just put on warm socks? We can't do like the hot hands. Can't put a few of those in your you know what I mean in your shoe. And you're running around anyway. Why you didn't have to? That is making me mad. Don't put cayenne pepper in your shoes or socks. Thank you. It's not good.
Well, I think that is going to do it for this week's episode. Caitlin, thank you so much for filling in for Patrick. We appreciate it. Praying for Patrick and his family. Keep him and their family in your prayers over the weekend. Like we said, just having a tough week this week, but he should be back next week, as well as we anticipate Maddie being back for Maddie's Minute. Caitlin, you are always welcome to come back.
Yes.
JJ, thank you for calling in. You are also always welcome to come into the studio. I believe we're going to have special guests next week from our sponsor, North Country Ford of Jasper. We're going to have Nick Dukes in to talk some football as well next week, preview that Super Bowl matchup. So next week,
right.
we're going to know who's going to be in the Super Bowl this time next week.
Crazy. And it was no one that like people would have originally thought at the beginning of the season. Like because I mean the Eagles obviously are out and Chiefs are out.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Lions are out.
Lions are out. R.I.P.
Steelers didn't make it. Can you believe it?
I mean, I can't. That's
I can't.
insane.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, the Steelers. Yeah, and I mean, I'm telling you, like everyone that people originally thought. I mean, they're not in it. It's crazy. You know.
Well,
how the turntables.
How the turntables. College football has come to an end. It came and
That's
went.
right. Which is crazy. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that the Hoosiers got their first national championship in isn't it like school history?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm glad that
First
happened.
Heisman and national championship in school history, same season.
Yeah, and like Big Ten championship. Like, yeah, love that for them.
Yep, big year for the
Yeah.
Hoosiers. All right, thank you everyone for listening, and thank you to our sponsor, North Country Ford of Jasper. If you'd like to become a sponsor, we'll let you. We're not going to fight you on it, and you can do so by messaging us at TGM Pod or at the WJLX Facebook page, or email us at gamemanagerspod@gmail.com. If you got a question or if you want us to talk about something on the show, write us on the Facebook page or email us at gamemanagerspod. We had some messages this week talking about the reclassification. Thank you for those who did some hot takes. One message we had, let me pull it up so that I can make sure I get the name here. We had a message from a listener talking about the new Region 5, Class 5 Region 5 that has Jasper, Coleman, and some others in it. Here we go, pulling it up now. And the message said that he thought that this would actually make things better for Jasper, that it would be a better product that we're going to see. Aiden Ramsey says, hey guys, just reaching out because, oh no, this is the winner. Just reaching out because I won your Bowl Mania. Thank you, Aiden. We will get that information to you today.
Nice.
But Dakota Guthrie is the message I was trying to find. Hot take, 5A Region 5 will be very competitive. I think that is absolutely true.
Well,
I can't
mainly
wait to
because
see
it's
that.
all like they're all like even. You know what I mean? Like even or like similar amount of students, right? Is that am I
Yeah,
saying that?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
that's going to be a fun year of football. When we get around to that next fall,
Yeah.
me and Patrick will, of course, be on the scoreboard show. The game managers will take a quick hiatus when we do that on Friday nights instead, but we'll still probably upload those episodes onto the stream, so it'll be like we didn't go anywhere. Maddie's Bennett next week. Patrick back next week. Go see Patrick at Ezra Baptist Church, their home church this weekend. If you got nowhere to be, go hear the good word. And, of course, we will be back every Friday at 6 p.m. Thank you for joining us this week, and we will see you next time. Caitlin, would you like to sign us off? What your classic, one of your classic catchphrases?
Oh, what's my classic catchphrase?
Just off the dome. Give us one.
Off the dome. I don't know. I'm put on the spot.
Don't mess with my spaghetti.
Don't mess with my spaghetti.
Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week. See you then.
Bye.
Blue 42! Blue 42! Hut! Hike!
Thank you for listening to The Game Managers. Like the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TGM Pod. Until next week, goodbye, adios, and sayonara.